Welcome back. This is code.org CS Discoveries. This is Unit 2, Lesson 2, Websites for Expression. So in this unit, we will have an activity guide as well. So to get started, you can go ahead and download that activity guide from Google Classroom. It should look like this: Activity Guide, Personal Website Planning Guide. So in this lesson, it introduces websites as a mean of personal expression. The class first discusses different ways that people express and share their interests and ideas, then looks at a few exemplar websites made by students from a previous course. Finally, everyone brainstorms and shares a list of topics and interests to include, creating a resource for developing a personal website in the rest of the unit. So, our vocab for this unit is website content. Website content is the raw text, images, and other elements included in a web page. So pretty standard vocab for this one, pretty simple. The actual things that are going to go inside the website, your website content. So YouTube, that's your videos, your comments, your likes. If you're on Instagram, that's your feed, all of the pictures, the comments, the captions, any tagging, things like that, all of your content. Another example would be Amazon. Your website content would be all of the items, all of the ways to purchase things, all the ways to stream videos, all sorts of things inside of Amazon. We can't even get started and go through the whole list, but your content is the actual text, images, and any other element that might be on the page. Okay, so I'm going to press continue here. So if you are on code.org, going to lesson 2, websites for expression, go to level 2, and you can click on these hyperlinks here. I'll open them up here in a second, but these are the example websites that that code.org has given us. So go ahead and pull out your activity guide. If you haven't had it printed off yet and you want a hard copy of it, pause the video, print it out, get your name put on it because we're going to get started on it. If you haven't opened it up electronically, please do that now, and then we're going to be going through that. So this is our brainstorm content. So you'll be creating your own personal website. So that's what this unit is all about, is your own personal website. So it gets pretty cool. You get to make all sorts of cool, crazy ideas. Any idea that you'd want, you can put inside of your website. So this is kind of our first steps to doing that and planning it all out. So an important part of building a website is knowing the content that you'd like to include. Since this is your website, you'll be able to decide what hobbies, interests, or messages you'd like to share. Use the prompts and space below to brainstorm content you'd want to include in your personal website. So what you're going to do is you're going to use these prompt questions, and you're going to fill in this space below. You can either type in that space or you can write down ideas, and you're going to follow through these questions. So I'm just going to read these questions and then we're going to move on, and then so after I'm done reading the questions, you can go ahead and just pause it, and then we'll meet back together here on this website sketch part. So our first prompt question is, what are things you like to do for fun? So just go ahead and put any things that you like to do for fun. You can, if you're writing on this paper, you can go ahead and write it up here if you'd like. You can write it down here in this space. Totally up to you. What are things you know more about than other people? Myself personally, I think I know more about computers than most people. I know more about some video games than most people, not a lot of video games. I know a lot about hurdling. I know a lot about basketball, all sorts of different things like that. So I might put those things down here in this space. What are things you care about in your school, your community, or even the world at large? Within my school, I know I care about my work. I know I care about my students. Within my community, I know that I care about the people, the atmosphere that I know that the students are coming into. So stores, local community businesses, the community garden, the food bank, all things like that I care deeply about, making sure that everybody is well provided for and living their best life. Or even the world at large. My big one on this world at large is our last robotics tournament was actually about keeping the oceans clean. So I care about that. That one could actually tie back into the school and the community as well. But I care about keeping our oceans clean, keeping our environment safe, and that can transpire into our school and our community, making sure that we are picking up after ourselves, not leaving too big of a carbon footprint, so that those that come after us can live in a healthy environment and live healthy lives, and any of the other wildlife or animals that are out there also have, you know, their impact on the environment, and we're not ruining that for them as well. What messages do you want to share with a wide audience? I think these code.org lessons are an awesome thing to share with a wide audience. Some other things that I'm passionate about that I would share with a wide audience might be a gaming club here at school, or VR technology, or something to do with basketball or track, or just computers in general. So those are some things that I could put down in this space here if I'd like. So go ahead and do that now, or do that while I was talking there. You can do that, and then we are going to go down to this next part. So if you don't have that done, pause the video, but we are going to move on. So website sketch. Choose one topic from your list above, so choose one of the things up there, and draw a quick sketch of a web page that presents the content, or that content, in an interesting way. Try to think of ways to structure and style your content to better communicate and emphasize your message. Okay, so what you can do is you can draw pictures, you can do a description, you can have in little links, whatever you'd like, any of those things, and we go ahead and put any of those things down: buttons, lists, pictures, headings, anything like that that you think would go into your website, and we will eventually learn how to put those in. It might not come until later, but that's okay. That's how we are going to learn to do this. So try to think of ways you can structure and style your content to better communicate and emphasize your message. So I'm going to show you what the example that we've got here is. Let's see if this stays zoomed in. Yep. So the example that we've got is a cat adoption page. So they've got just a picture, just a very quick sketch of a cat. Do you want a fun pet that is easy to take care of? Adopt a cat. Learn more about cats. Okay? So that's just a fun, cool little example of a web page, not very complex, definitely not too detailed. I'd like yours a little bit more detailed, but go ahead and sketch whatever you'd like there. Here we're going to take a look at some of the examples. So if you want to go to code.org, you can check out some examples here. So this one, they've got, their website is their favorites. They talk about their cat. They've got a picture of the cat. It's copyrighted. We'll talk about that in lesson 7. They talk about books here. They've got a picture of books. It's got a cool border around it. Also is correctly copyrighted as well. And then they talk about, looks like ice cream. Okay, so that's one example of a website. This one is a personal website. It's a hobbies website. Looks like hobbies here is acting, video games, anime, and then they've got a description to a key lime pie recipe, and then that's what their background image is. So that's what a website might look like. I would like yours to be more centered around these questions. What's something that you think, especially this one here, I think that we could get a lot of really cool websites from this question here, things that you care about in your school, your community, and even the world at large, or messages that you'd like to share. We all, being in a small school at Baltic, we already know a lot about each other. So, you know, things that you like to do for fun, we probably know those things. Or things that you know more about than other people, that could be very interesting if it's something that you're passionate about, because you're going to be doing a lot with this website. So make sure that it's something that you enjoy, something that you're passionate about, and that you want to make a website on, because you're going to be doing quite a few things with this website. You can always change, so don't feel like whatever you decide now has to be what your website is, and it's not how it has to be laid out. This is just kind of a rough sketch to get some ideas down on paper. All right, so if you don't have a stylus, you might want to, if you typed up here and don't have a stylus for your computer, you can print it out so that that stays typed how it is, and then just draw your sketch here. And then, or if you have it on paper, you've written up here and sketched down here. As soon as you have that done, go ahead and turn it in either to Google Classroom or hand it in to Mr. Clark. And that is the end of Unit 2, CS Discoveries in Code.org, Unit 2, Lesson 2. And that one was about our personal website planning guide.